I'm just going to take you guys through a CarPlay demonstration. My name's Miles Johnston, the product manager for the CarPlay. Real simple, what we noticed about 4 years ago is customers taking their phones and they were mounting them to their dashboards with those crazy suction cup mounts. They were mounting them here, they were mounting down here, and what were they doing? They were making calls with it, navigation using Apple Maps or Google Maps, sending text messages while they're driving. So there was a lot of this numbers and using the little screen to try to program a route or do something. So what we decided was there's got to be a simpler, more intuitive way that's safer. So about 2 years ago, we started working with Apple on CarPlay. So I'm just going to take you through a quick demo of CarPlay in our 2015 Sonata here. And I'll just start with the connection. It is a simple lightning cable. We're not doing a Bluetooth pairing here. It's a simple lightning cable into the USB. Plug it in. That brings up the CarPlay icon on the head unit here, and then I can touch it just to activate it. And we use Siri through Apple's Siri works with CarPlay, and we use the push to talk button on the steering wheel. And I can also use the up and down buttons to navigate through some songs, and I've of course got a volume control. So let's just give some scenarios of we're driving along and we want to make a call. This is one of the early glitches that we're working through. Call Miles Johnston.
Calling Miles Johnston.
So what you're seeing here is it's nice and big. All these are very recognizable and simple. Looks like just like on your iPhone, and only better because the icons are bigger, right? So that's how to make a phone call. Pretty simple. You'll see all my recent calls are here. I can scroll up. I can scroll down. If I see something I like, I can touch it. My contacts are here. I can drill in. I can touch and I can make the call, or I can use Siri. I can use Siri to dial a number, or I can also do it the old-fashioned way, and I can listen to voicemails. So what we found was customers kept telling us, make the experience like my smartphone. I touch my smartphone over 100 times a day. I know how to use it. That's why people were using Apple Maps and messaging and
familiarity
stuff, and using Siri while they're driving. So as a manufacturer, we can't compete with that familiarity. So why not partner with Apple to bring the smartphone into the car in a safe, intuitive way? So that's how to make a call real quick. We'll just go to the next icon. Music has always been inside of cars, radios and whatnot. Apple's big with music, so of course they're going to want to integrate music. So I've got some choices here. The iTunes radio is very popular. So I can bring up like rock anthems, so it's one of the featured stations. And then I'm streaming using my 4G LTE connection. And then if I want to switch to the next song, I just hit the push button there. Pretty simple. I also have access to all my music on my phone or my... so all my artists are here, but notice how they've simplified this.
Oh, that's much nicer.
So imagine on our songs, even on our Genesis, if you had 900 songs and you wanted to play 821, then scroll that dial. Obviously,
sounds like a song title.
Yeah, obviously much simpler to go up and down using Siri this way, or I can use Siri and I can say...
You press and hold to activate
yeah,
Siri?
you press and hold.
It's nice, just like the phone then.
Yep. So this is the little glitch we've got. Play Van Halen.
Okay, Van Halen coming up shuffled.
Very
So,
slick looking.
right, and the familiarity with Siri is already there, so I can always ask Siri questions. Did the Detroit Tigers win last night?
The Tigers subjugated the Royals by a score of 16-4 yesterday.
Thank you.
So that's music. All my songs are there. Pretty simple. I can shuffle, create playlists, but notice everything's 1 or 2 button presses, and it's always done using Siri as well. Pretty simple and straightforward. This always takes me back to the home screen. So navigation, we obviously want to go somewhere. I can hit Siri. Find me Wrigley Field.
I found one place. It is pretty far from you.
So I can start the route.
Starting route to Wrigley Field.
I can get an overview of the route.
Head southeast on Island Lake Road.
I can zoom in.
Does pinch to zoom work as well?
No, not yet.
Okay. Is that...
Something maybe in the future that
Okay.
we get the pinch to zoom.
I don't think anybody has that right now.
Not
Is there,
yet.
is there a safety reason, or is that something?
I'm not quite sure what the limitation on that, whether it's a software thing to get it to that state in
Yeah.
terms of the touchscreen. One thing even we've struggled with, I'm driving somewhere, I see my destination, I know my last 3 turns, and the navigation, I want to cancel the route. We've always had a couple of 3 button presses or something to cancel the route, and someone has to learn how to cancel the route. CarPlay,
Done.
boom, done.
This is so easy then.
That's the point I'm trying to get across, is the simpleness and the intuitiveness of it. So that's the navigation. You can always ask it for coffee shops or anything that you would ask Siri, you can ask it. But again, look at the layout, the colors, everything's bright, easy to read. Let's go through messaging. I can just hit messaging.
Would you like to hear your unread messages, or create a new one?
Create a new one.
To whom shall I send this?
Miles Johnson.
Okay, what do you want to say to Miles Johnson?
Miles Johnson is a real snappy dresser from Connecticut, and he thinks the Detroit Press Corps is a really awesome group.
And he's lying.
Your message to Miles Johnson says, Miles Johnson is a real snappy dresser from Connecticut and he thinks the Detroit Press Corps is a really awesome group. Ready to send it?
Yes. So, joking aside with my
Okay,
message
I'll
there,
send your message.
you heard it read it back with the accuracy. So imagine I was inside and I got this message. Just going to show Craig here how accurate it is.
It's fantastic.
So it spelled everything correctly. So there's no need for me to kind of try to edit or do some typing while I'm driving. Again, everything eyes, mind on the road, hands on the wheel.
It's
Very
basically
simple.
iOS that's been optimized for on-road use.
Exactly.
And that makes it super easy.
Exactly. So, I'll send a message into the car. Obviously, I'd be like in the restaurant. So you see the message came in, and I simply touch it, and it comes up.
You have a message from Miles Johnson. He sure is. I like him a lot.
So, joking aside about my message being cute and everything, What you didn't see is any words on the screen. There's no reading involved. Everything was audio, and so there's a lot of problems out there in the industry with voice recognition.
Oh yeah.
I think I just gave a pretty good demonstration of
That's
how
fantastic.
accurate Siri is with its voice recognition. So that's messaging. Now playing is always showing me what's on, what's playing. I can go up and back with the steering wheel button. Again, all my music is there. This always takes me back to the home screen. If I hold it down, it also activates Siri. The Hyundai button takes me to the Hyundai menu. So one of the applications that we can do is we can be running the onboard navigation to a destination and also make a call using CarPlay or send a text message using CarPlay.
Can you do navigation in each?
That I haven't tried yet, but that's a
The
good
universe
question.
would
I'll have to play with that. But all my other menus are here. So if I want to listen to the World Cup on Sirius XM channel 84,
That's just the baked-in Hyundai system.
that's the baked-in Hyundai system. But I can be listening to Sirius XM and make a call using CarPlay. So that's
So
the
CarPlay
integrated.
runs as an app. It takes your smartphone, essentially the usable functions
Right.
that you'd want in a car. You're not going to be searching
Right,
Pinterest or
we
something.
couldn't put all your apps up there.
Yeah,
And
you
make
don't
it
want Pinterest.
Right,
or something.
right, something like that. So and make it safe. So that's the messaging. That's the Hyundai thing. Music. They've also added podcasts. People like to listen to podcasts while they're driving. Pandora and Spotify.
So if you had the screen full, you would have, I'm assuming, a horizontal slide the screens
you
or
might
something?
be able to go up or down.
Okay.
At this point, they've consolidated the number of apps to what I just showed you, plus the Spotify and Pandora.
Yeah.
So the Hyundai button also takes you to all these other menus. So
For settings and stuff.
yeah, and then we have a download station where we can download software. So we can do updates. In the future, if you bought a Sonata now and we introduce CarPlay in January 15th, and I want it, it's a simple update with an SD card.
Right.
So that is an option for us to carry out and let people use CarPlay or in a retrofit kind of kit.
So Hyundai will be the first mass market manufacturer with this
Yeah,
system?
you never say exact claim. We're targeting to be the first volume manufacturer to have it. Volvo's out there, Ferrari's out there, Mercedes is out there, but we feel that we can be the first mainstream brand. We've said we'll have a car with CarPlay and Android Auto in the 2015 model year. Our folks are targeting to have at least one Hyundai product with CarPlay by the end of the year. We'll see how it goes, but they're working hard on it. So that's CarPlay, guys. Pretty simple. The time there, 4G connection with the 3 bars, so we had a good signal. It does require the cell signal. That is one of the limitations, and that's why we've got the onboard navigation as well. In case you do lose a cell signal, you can use your onboard navigation. But in the future, you could see a system where it was just a display screen and eliminating the CD player, even eliminating the radio. And I think there's a customer set out there that might be interested in an Elantra or an Accent that would be perfectly...
Just the display screen and then run your phone as the home?
Give me the access to my phone. That's what the number one research thing we had is make it work like our smartphone. And
Well,
I
why
think-
not? It's the most personal device you've got.
That's exactly right.
Is there any reason you wouldn't want to just duplicate the screen? I guess the aspect ratio is different, obviously, but some functionality you wouldn't want.
Right, and that's where we've worked with Apple. I don't know about you, but if we just simply projected all my apps, you can see it's not going to work. And that was a solution about 2 or 3 years ago. They were calling it mirroring. So it's just going to mirror your phone exactly. But I think we've shown that the little icons and suction cupping the phone to your thing and trying to use it that way is not the ideal experience. This is actually better than your smartphone because of the screen size and the way the activation works. So eyes on the road, mind on the road, hands on the wheel, using Siri, 1 or 2 button presses. I think the biggest thing is instant familiarity with it. If you know how to work an iOS device, an Apple device, you'll know how to work this. Same with a Google device. If you're familiar with a Samsung Galaxy, whatever, that will work with Android Auto, and we're working on that as well. So that's it, guys.
This is exclusively functions with the iPhone. Then you couldn't plug another device in and have it work. Ditto with the Android Auto.
Right.
It's exclusive. What about Windows Phone users? What do you?
With
Right
the
now,
All 12 of us. All 12 of us.
with the Android Auto, will it have to be up to a certain like 4.3 or 4.2 or something to work, or is that not yet clarified?
I know they're in the midst of developing all that, so I don't have all
Gotcha.
the answers yet. So that's CarPlay, guys.
Thanks.
Very nice. Thank you.